Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you another Smogon Premier League 17 showdown. This is a week 1 matchup between Tizio Potente and Malekith. Tizio is somebody who had a very good 2025 as far as DPP went, and he's starting for the Alpha Ruiners, whereas Malekith, he had a rough SPL campaign last year for Tigers. This time around, he's on the Stark Sharks. He also has Martial Law on his team as well, so that's an interesting duel to have on that team. But for those who are in the know, Malekith had a respectable showing in DPP Revival Invitational. So, he's shown that, he still got it. And again, disclaimer, as per usual, this is the first major tournament that we are having with sleep moves banned in its entirety. So it's going to be interesting to see what both players come up with, and let's jump right into this. Bronzong League, Zapdos lead. This is a matchup definitely not in Bronzong's favor, as Zapdos could annoy Bronzong in a plethora of ways, whether that's offensive Zapdos with Heat Wave or something like Substitute Zap, which Bronzong can't really do anything back to it, as it'll just get pressure stalled. There's only really 2 options, or really 3 options for Bronzong. 1, Explode, but that's very risky if you do it right into a Substitute. 1, and then 2, getting Stealth Rocks up, which is like, neutral outcome. You might take some damage on the way, or 3, just switch out entirely and scout Heat Wave. Let's see what happens here. Zapdos substitutes up, pretty safe play. Stealth Rocks up. The question is, what's Tizio's answer? Eating a Heat Wave is not ideal, and Gyro Ball does not break the sub, so that's actually quite disastrous. Flygon's the Zapdos answer. This makes sense for Tizio to go into, because if this Zapdos is showing Heat Wave, that tells me that this Zapdos is lacking Hidden Power Ice for the most part, unless it's like, sub 3 attacks, which is very unlikely. But in Tizio's case though, the problem here is if this is a Scarf Flygon, then Flygon is not really able to do anything back to this Zapdos. Now if it's a Scarf Flygon, this tells me that this almost certainly needs to be a Magneton or Magnezone in the back, because both of these would be complete fodder to Skarmory just getting spikes up on the field. So I was just gonna sit on this. Okay, U-turn, breaks the sub. Kingdra is gonna be the follow-up here, but that's not really ideal because Malekith can still stall this out. Zapdos gonna discharge here, gonna get a para. Going to pop the Lumberry on Kingdra. So this is a DD Kingdra, and this almost certainly has to be a Drag Mag offense from Tizio, which I'm not sure if I like this style of team, especially into a sub Zap, which is like disastrous. Go Waterfall here, only doing 30%. It is going to break the sub, but gets back-to-back discharge pairs, which is disastrous for Tizio. So this went from kind of rough but manageable to this Zapdos has potential to just take this game completely out of Tizio's hands, and Malekith can keep fishing for full paras, and he's gonna have to go back to Flygon. Flygon's going to Outrage here. Zapdos will roost back up to full, but again, there's no reason for Malekith to switch out here, and he can just wait out the Outrage turns and then fish for confusion hacks. And really, I think you really see just how oppressive Zapdos is, especially when it doesn't have to worry about needing to use something else to be sleep fodder to Breloom. And it just sits on, it can just noob check teams. Kind of like what we're seeing right now. Zapdos got Heat Wave to Flygon, but it's just slowly getting worn down as this game goes on. Outrage doing respectable damage, but again, it's going to be confused once more. Tizio has to go for it, and Zapdos going to get the sub up here, and if the Flygon hits itself, which it does, now the Zapdos might actually 6-0 Tizio's team. Especially because this is Heat Wave Zapdos, which is probably the worst outcome Tizio could have gotten as far as matchup goes. Got sub up here again. And really, I don't know. I mean, looking at this game so far, it's like, did Tizio really need to risk the Kingdra getting back-to-back discharge pairs? I mean, the odds were not likely, but still, you have to account for that. And there was no reason for Malekith not to try and wear the Kingdra down. Finally got to switch into Flygon. We're going to have this weird song and dance here. And, oh my, this Flygon gets burned now. So adding insult to injury. Malekith was already in a favorable position, but this just further solidifies it. Gets a crit though, but that's not going to matter because the Zapdos can just safely roost up again. Roost is up here, so that's going to make it neutral to Thunderbolt from Magnezone. And I think Tizio's last here might be like another water here based on how he's playing this. And the Zapdos is just going to claim 2, or maybe even 3. And Gengar is revealed to be one of the last here. Going to let a Shadow Ball rip here. It doesn't get parried this time, so the Zapdos will hopefully at least go down this time. Tizio trying to fish for a switch out, but again, Malekith has no reason to go for this. And he's going to go into Tyranitar, try to make the Gengar die to Sand Chip. Gets a crit there. I think he should. I don't know about that. Suigun's follow-up here, but really on that Tyranitar turn, I wonder if Tizio could have tried to go for a Focus Blast because of a couple reasons. One, I guess this is also a learning moment for anybody watching this. It's like, you know, when you're very far behind, I think there are sometimes turns where you have to take those risks. And in Tizio's case, I think he could have tried to take a risk there to Focus Blast the incoming T-Tar or Pursuiter to get significant damage out of it. Because that way he could at least try to neutralize, you know, try to get some momentum back. Although the Zapdos would have taken significant damage on the way back, and then say you follow up with Suicune as expected, and then, you know, with the sand up, it's like, okay, Zapdos isn't like nearly as invincible, especially with rocks up too. But that said though, let's keep going. So Malekith's gonna switch into Empoleon, that's got the soft check here, and Suicune's Hydro Pump misses. So Tizio cannot really get anything going. And Custap on Bronzong is revealed, which is interesting. And oh, it is Donphan, and it's just going to FUD straight into that. And Suicune's going to have to be a follow-up yet again. Going to Calm Mind up here. However, it's going to get knocked off on the way here. So Malekith with a double knock team. And normally, I think there's got to be another Steel in the back here. Oh, Gira is revealed, which is interesting. Okay, he was scouting for Hidden Power Electric. That's what was going on. Okay, yeah, so there is a Steel, in fact. Steel is Bronzong. So we see Bronzong and Empoleon. And then I think Malekith's Tyranitar is probably Scarf. It has to be, because otherwise Gengar would just completely own you. And Custap's again, Torn Boosted Surf, only doing 21%. But if it is a Scarf Tyranitar, it should be enough to get the job done. And it is a Scarf indeed. And Suicune's going to go down. Kingdra will certainly go down as well. And Malekith will take this game convincingly. And he will move on to 1-0 on the season. And Tizio will be starting off the season with a loss on his record. This was just a rough matchup from turn 1 onwards. You know, sub-Zapdos into a Bronzong lead. That was and not to mention it's also Heatwave Zapdos too, which was as nightmarish of a matchup as it could have gotten for Tizio. And I think Tizio's team, this looks like something straight out like, you know, 2017, 2018. It's like with DD Kingdra and Mag, I don't really love DD Kingdra because one, it just simply never does enough damage. Its damage output is just extremely underwhelming, never does enough. Like, I get the idea here, you know, like get rid of Skarn, you know, cripple stuff with T-Wave, and then enable Kingdra to go off. I mean, I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because, you know, it's the first week with without, like, you know, sleep being a factor, and I think Tizio really tried to take advantage of the Breloom ban, like bringing in Flygon, bringing in Suicune, bringing in Bronzong, with Custap, no less. But then again, this team's fighting resistances are a little bit spotty. Like Infernape would be really rough for Tizio. So that's kind of like, so I think his team has like other issues on top of this. And then obviously, like, you know, someone like Specs Laddie would have a field day, especially because this is Custab Zong. So it's taking a lot of damage from Dracos repeatedly, and you know, there's not a lot of chances to deny an entry point for that. Whereas Malekith's team, it was just, you know, something a little more bog standard, you know, like Empoleon plus Donphan, and then Scarf T-Tar. Like, this is okay, but something like Wisp Rotom would be really, really annoying for Tyranitar because of the fact that, one, like, you know, Scarf Tar doesn't hit as hard, so there's that. Like, defensive Rotom would be super annoying for Malekith's team. But again, this is like, I think this is just like a slight tweak in terms of structures for Malekith, off of like a proven team style, like, you know, with Zapdos plus Spinner, that kind of thing. But that being said, though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.